Dr. Pamela Rutherford, pronouns she, her. I'm associate professor in the biology department at Brandon University, and I've been studying amphibian and reptile conservation for close to 30 years now. About 20 of those at Brandon University, and then as part of my PhD as well.
My name is Jackie, pronouns he, him. I am Dr. Pamela Rutherford's master's student. I am currently studying amphibian diseases here for my master's thesis. Frogs have been known as, the canary of the mine because they are so sensitive to their surroundings. They're very great biological indicators of their habitat. Very big feature about amphibians is they've got permeable skin, so they can also tell us about the quality, their water quality, what contaminants or pollutants might be in the water.
And World Frog Day is a really good opportunity to draw awareness to frogs and to kind of let the general public know a little bit about the role that they play in the ecosystem. And unfortunately, lots of people kind of have not positive thoughts necessarily about reptiles and amphibians, so it's a really good opportunity to sort of shine a light on, why they're important, why we should care, and the role that they play in the ecosystems.
On this side of the province, you'll find a lot of northern leopard frogs. So they're these green frogs. They're a little bit on the bigger side in their adulthood. They're green, they've got black little spots resembling a leopard, hence the name. Fairly common here. They're currently special concern. And another common frog you would find here would be the wood frog. So they're a little bit smaller. They're brown. They've got these dark brown markings alongside their head. We also have the tree frog, the gray tree frog that you might find over here. We've also got the mink frog, the green frog, but they're a little bit more limited to the eastern side. They're not as common. Some of the frog species, especially the wood frogs, it's as soon as ice melts. So the wood frogs, they hibernate over the winter under leaf litter, so as soon as that frost layer melts, they're up and active. Fun fact,
roadwood frogs are super cool in that they actually have the ability to freeze solid. You can get a frogsicle, the physiology is so amazing. They can freeze perfectly solid, thaw out, and hop along. So it's an adaptation that allows them to inhabit these northern communities. You can find wood frogs all the way up north, like up through Northwest Territories. So for me, that was honestly getting the job at Brandon University and living in Manitoba. Manitoba, for not just reptiles and amphibians, but for a lot of species, has this really unique place where we have species from Western North America that are in Western Manitoba, and we have species from Eastern North America and Eastern Manitoba, and we have a lot of species that will come up from the south. And so you actually have a lot of what are called hybrid zones, which are areas where two different species meet, or also at the very northern edges of species ranges. So Manitoba just is this incredibly unique place to study these kinds of questions. And I love being able to work here. And so it just provided a really good research opportunity.
Every frog or amphibian species has their own kind of preference for type of habitat, but really just any wetland that can hold enough water throughout the year to support their development. Wetlands, but also terrestrial environments are very important for them. Some species, such as the wood frog, they overwinter under leaf litter.
A really key component of healthy populations is genetic diversity. And so knowing about the genetics of a population can tell us about whether those species will survive. And populations at the edge of the range, rather than thinking about them as being unimportant because they're at the edge of a range, they're actually, a lot of research in evolutionary biology has identified they're uniquely important, and a key component of that is the genetic diversity. So understanding that is really important, and it's also understanding the genetics has also helped us differentiate between different species. So recent work that was done with Environment Canada and climate change identified where Western tiger salamanders, sorry, not frogs, but amphibians, Western tiger salamanders and Eastern tiger salamanders live. And Manitoba is the only place in Canada that they're found. They used to be found in Ontario, but they're what's called extirpated from Ontario, so that means they're no longer found there. It's different than extinct, which means they're no longer found anywhere. And so we have the only populations of eastern tiger salamanders, and then we're on the eastern side of the western tiger salamanders. So that's been just a recent example of genetic work. Again, I didn't do that work, but I've been involved and will be using some of that information. It's been a really important finding.
So a big one would be the draining of wetlands for urban and agricultural expansion. As you may know, amphibians need aquatic habitats, but it's also just accumulation of multiple different stressors. It's not just one thing. Another one specifically with amphibians and reptiles would be road mortality. An example would be up near Riding Mountain. We see a lot of road mortality events with amphibians, especially during rainy seasons in the spring when they're doing their spring migrations. So that's definitely a big thing that we're looking for. And for my project, an up-and-coming threat is disease. So disease can also has actually caused a lot of declines here. The disease is known as chytridiomycosis, as it's an epidermal skin infection caused by BD and B-cell. BD is a fungal pathogen that's been well established here, and B-cell is currently limited to Europe, but its anticipated effects here, if it were to be introduced here in North America, could be a lot worse. So thankfully we have a lot of programs here in North America that are constantly monitoring the condition and the presence of these pathogens.
One of the big challenges with habitat fragmentation is that it limits their ability to move between their necessary habitats. So terrestrial and aquatic habitats are really important for all amphibians. And so with that limitation, it creates some challenges for them to safely move, and that's where we can see a lot of, like as Jackie mentioned, issues with road mortality, is they're migrating from their winter habitats to their summer habitats. The other component of that is we know as a challenge, but we need to learn a lot more about how different species will respond to it, is climate change. And habitat fragmentation coupled with climate change can be problematic. So if we've got warming temperatures, which we know is happening, we know that there's certain regions, but for this particular area, the prediction is more drying, which we're seeing already on the landscape. And the challenge with that is just that it's not that the frogs couldn't maybe tolerate those warming temperatures, but they would need to be able to move to an environment that retains that suitability. And when you've got these fragmented habitats, it restricts the ability of populations to sort of relocate and manage that climate change. The other challenge with that is, as Jackie mentioned, there's been a large decrease in wetlands across southern Manitoba, and part of that is conversion to agriculture, which of course we need to have food grown to be sustainable. And so lots of work and lots of organizations have been, over the years I've worked with and continue to work with Nature Conservancy Canada and Ducks Unlimited, for example. And these organizations will work with private landowners and farmers. So on their lands, they could have agriculture, but then they could also, maybe the suboptimal kind of agricultural areas could also be suitable habitat for frogs. And so that can be a good way to work and sort of to basically have kind of a win-win scenario where we're still able to use that cropland, but also try and maintain those habitat patches for the animals and maintain those corridors between the habitat patches. That's a really important role that local landowners could play. And if they're not knowledgeable about it, that can be where the limitation is. So that can be a role that we can play. That's where organizations, like I said, like Ducks Unlimited, which of course are ducks focused, but they are creating good wetland habitat, which is fantastic for frogs. Mm-hmm. And Nature Conservancy Canada as well can work with landowners to help provide some of that information and some of that guidance. For example, lots of people might have a cottage property and it'll be on a body of water, small. And of course that's wonderful and lovely. And if you could just maintain some, just along those edges, rather than sort of mowing right up to the edges and keeping it pristine, if you'd be willing to maintain parts of that property where you've got some longer grasses, then that would allow space for the frogs, the amphibians, but also lots of other species to inhabit, and it makes for a much healthier ecosystem, and it provides, you know, some lovely things for you to see on your property as well. So again, we're looking for opportunities where there's kind of a win-win, it's a positive experience for people on their properties.
There's a lot of awareness within the general public. You know, they're these cute little creatures, and you know, the human instinct is to always protect things that we find cute and adorable. So I think, above all else, I think that gaining public awareness on issues would be kind of the saving factor.
And I think for me, it's students like Jackie and his generation that are, you know, Jackie and some other grad students have recently started a chapter with Wildlife Society here in Brandon, and they're just really active in conservation, really active in social media, communicating, and that definitely gives me a lot of positive feelings that you know, that there will be an increasing awareness and stewardship of these species and these habitats going forward.
In terms of citizen science, there's this wonderful application phone program, or app on your phone, known as iNaturalist. You can use it on your laptop, your desktop, but basically what you do is you go out and you take pictures of wildlife, and then you record it. What it does, it stores geographic information of where that species was located. You can record, you know, other things such as, you know, sex if you can, life stage and all that kind of stuff. And what that does is it gets posted into this online database, this public database, and then experts will come and then kind of audit your observation to see if it's the right thing. And once they audit it, it turns into a research, what's called as a research grade observation. That data then gets used by researchers like Dr. Rutherford and myself to plan, you know, conservation management plans. For me specifically, it's been very helpful with my disease work.
iNat is amazing. It's super simple. It's literally an account. Take a picture of a cool critter and upload that. It's a one-click process to upload it. It also has this incredible feature that will help you identify what you're looking at. And I use it a ton for lots of species that I don't know as well, for example, my plants. And so it's just a super fun thing that you could, you know, do with, literally kids could do this. It's just a lot of people are taking these pictures, and it is so incredibly helpful. We use it with, I serve on an Environment Canada and Climate Change Committee, and we use that information from the general public is becoming incredibly helpful because people are in lots of different places that not every kind of biologist can get to survey. So Jack and I are both members of Canadian Herpetological Society. It's a big, complicated word, but it's basically, you know, all the people across Canada that study amphibians and reptiles, and it's not just people at universities, it includes a wide range of people, lots of people who kind of do this as a hobby. If you want to learn more, you can follow, the short form is CHS, and you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram. So we encourage you, please go out, celebrate World Frog Day on March 20th, and put some love on these incredible creatures.